All right, we're gonna start out today, Monday, November 23rd, 2020. Our meeting order. Start out the invocation. Howie, would you do that?
Lord, we come together today. We honor your name in this week of Thanksgiving. Lord, thank you for your guidance, your wisdom. Lord, I pray for protection for the residents of Ferry County and for the employees of Ferry County. For guidance for the new commissioners as they come on board and wisdom. And again, I just thank you for your presence. In Jesus' name, amen.
Johnny, would you lead us in pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. No changes.
No changes?
No changes that I have right now.
Hmm.
I didn't know. I didn't know if there were any changes, so I can't be. Yeah, I know. It's all in charter.
So next week, are we meeting just on Monday again?
The 30th,
Okay.
I have the 30th and I have
For
the
what is it?
first, there is stuff scheduled already.
Okay,
Um, because that's the day I had to do the budget hearing.
okay,
So Tuesday, the 1st will be the budget and levy hearing and the budget amendment hearing at 1 PM. So there's definitely a meeting on Tuesday.
okay.
And we have that Superior Court budget with Evelyn and Judge Reeves.
Okay.
And Andy Simons will be in for his inspection update. And I'm sure we'll fill in along the way, just because I know that we're supposed to start pounding on the second round of budgets.
Okay.
So you get a fun week to start next week, Michael, with 2 meetings,
Okay,
a Monday and a Tuesday.
Monday and Tuesday.
Yep.
We'll see what the weather does, but I may be your personal shopper again on Wednesday if you want something.
Okay.
So I was thinking it was the week after, but it's not. Are we doing ECOG on Friday?
OMG. Okay. I'm totally unprepared. I mean, yes, we're supposed to do that.
Okay.
I'm so glad you said something. I mean, I have done all my, I just
Yeah.
have to send out my notice.
Okay,
The minutes are all done.
What day is that?
on Friday.
It snuck up on me
Yeah,
next week. And so COG is the Eastern Washington Council of Governments. I think that's one that you would like to hear.
It's a good
And,
That's on,
Friday the 4th. Yeah, in December. I guess I'm anyway, because at the end of November, just
and it'll be here.
we do on WebEx and we do it from here.
Okay.
But typically it's in Danville, or not Danville,
Davenport.
Davenport, sorry.
It's okay, it's Monday.
Yeah. Starts with a D, okay?
And what time is that? Monday?
So I'll send you an email.
Okay.
Typically it's 11. But I will send an email out with the information to let you know. And I'm gonna add your email on there. Yeah, I just got your email on Friday.
I gotta still figure out how to set it up and all that good stuff.
Yes, and we can put an app on your phone and you can check it from your phone.
Okay.
So it's very useful.
That's all I've got.
I can't believe it. I can't believe December.
Already here.
Yeah. I just can't believe it. When you're having fun and you have cool staff, time flies.
I have a rural resource meeting on the 2nd.
Okay. I'm just, I'm just, having Marie has been a breath of fresh air, so it's.
I get that.
Yeah.
Because that countenance daughter.
She's a comedian. Is your from Vegas? Wonderful.
Howard, did you know Dan Bryant?
Excuse me?
Do you know Dan Bryant?
I know the name.
He passed away.
The house over here?
No, he's up, he was one of our amazing volunteers with the Fair Board. He's in Orient.
Oh,
And, yeah, I just got word the other day, he's really a nice man.
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah, he was dedicated to the fair and everything for years. He drove a school bus to Orient.
Hmm.
too, so.
so the guy that owns a house right over here died as well.
Really?
What was his name, Mason?
Hamilton.
Right here, the one that with the
Oh.
back. So it'd be another property that would be very useful for us to acquire,
Yeah.
to make use of that land right there.
That's the one with the trees, apple trees.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
I thought,
Well, I'm sorry to hear that. That's a nice thing. Is this just an FYI EMS file 07?
Yeah, that's 10 minutes.
Thank you.
So in my endeavors to try to spend money,
the
working
code.
with Daryl on some things, so one of them is 2 thermal scanning
For the temperature.
units. Yeah, and they're on like tripods, and they're not like the FLIR stuff, which is way out of our price range, but they're FDA certified, and for a couple grand, you can do a unit. It's kind of a kiosk, where you just walk up to it, it'll scan your temperature and let you know what your temperature is, basically.
Oh.
It's within half a degree accuracy, and it scans certain parts of your face to get the hottest points or whatever. It has a formula. Got one for the jail, one for the front of the courthouse. Try 'em out. I mean, it seems worth seeing, you know,
Yeah.
if they work. You just walk up to it, look into it, and it'll give you a green or a red, depending on what your temperature is. So you could then get the little hand one or something, if,
Okay.
you know,
It only reads your mind a little bit.
just a little
Do
bit.
like face recognition in case there's like criminal elements that are coming?
These
Yeah,
radiation
yeah, we
poisoning
can do
from
that
it, but
too.
it'll be fine.
Does it come with like a quarantine enclosure that smacks around people?
Well,
It's a
that's,
taser, actually.
if we get some more COVID, we could buy that additional
Yeah.
setup. But right now, it's just the poison dart that shoots out of the wall. So anyway, I did a bunch of research on all the thermal technology that's out there. NASA doing that, so it seems like for a reasonable
The vaccine.
amount. The other one
But it
is,
fits into the budget still.
oh yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Uh, Between the two, they were like $2,200 for each one. So. And then camera system for
Hmm.
contract tracing. So it's
Hmm.
like we've been wanting to do a security system for the courthouse for a long time, and every time we get a quote, it's like $60,000, and we can never do it, going back 20 years. So I did some research. I think it was finally Friday between Daryl and I, and we found a 4K system. It's like 16 cameras. It's got 2 that are remote control for outside. They have night vision. They're all 4K.
Wow.
And the entire setup plus 20% off was like $3,200. Extra drive and all their PoE, which means network cable, powers it, and because the wireless in the courthouse doesn't work real well, 2-foot walls everywhere, and so but we can strain network cable, since we got network cable everywhere, and it's a lot more reliable.
Okay,
And it's got a recorder that can do up to 16 cameras with 4K video. So with the fiber connect over here, we could tap right into it, or wherever we run fiber that, you know. So if somebody has COVID, they go up into the auditors, out, you could trace where they went, so you could narrow down, you know,
is there,
let people know, and different things like that.
could we put it out at the fairgrounds too, if they're gonna be doing?
They would have to do their own,
Well, but what if we're gonna do the court stuff there?
right? No, I mean, we could justify, I'm just at the last minute trying to figure out how to do that. But the research on this was a pretty decent unit. You could probably buy a similar, but the problem is, I don't know how it's wired out there. As far as how much wire goes where, and then how much wireless you would need. So you need a hybrid potential.
So Curry County spent all its COVID money so far?
Yeah, we're trying.
Done by November 30th?
Well, it's before that. I actually had to put like 14,000 on my own credit card because of the county and the nightmare trying to purchase things, you know? And then we have a county limit of 75,000, which is everyone. So 100 employees has a limit of 75,000. So we reached that last month, but when the billing came through, they only paid half of it off. So that means we only had 30 to work with for the whole county. Even though my card was up to 25,000 temporarily because of the COVID, but it didn't matter. So it kept rejecting it. I tried Amanda's, it would reject that, you know, and a lot of it is it has to be documented by the date to qualify. If it goes beyond, then it's on our responsibility.
Right.
We don't want to do that. So if we do invoices or, you know, those type of things, they all have to go through the process, you know.
That's crazy.
It's been a nightmare just trying to figure this thing out. So I think the last one, you'll see it in Mike Golden's contract, he's adding about 30,000
Is an amendment,
as an amendment to the contract to cover cases that were done
but they're behind on.
earlier in the year, because they're overwhelmed.
Right, and that's what I didn't understand with that contract, because it looked to me like he was putting in 75,000.
So the first one was just the Stevens County
Stevens
version, and then he
Oh,
revamped for our numbers, and it's 30, and it's in our stuff to approve today.
Okay.
We'll want to read through
Yeah,
that.
I kind of went through it, and then that's why I said,
Yeah.
wait, we need to talk about this, because I
Yeah.
thought,
So his contract's around 60 plus 1% increase each year for the indigent defense. So he's concerned because he has like 120 open cases, and the more we're locked down, it just keeps growing. And he can't get caught up. He shut down his practice office in Colville because he has no private business anymore. And so it's just him and one other guy right now. And so he was kind of concerned, but all these cases, and they're not being settled in any shape or form, and now we're locked down to maybe February. And then who knows how long, so I don't know. But between Stevens County sitting down, trying to find solutions, and we're trying to find solutions, they thought for the cases within the period of like March 20th through November 30th, the COVID money could be used for the additional load and problems with that. So anyway, so it wouldn't have to come out of our general fund, which I don't know how we afford to keep
Okay.
doing that, but the COVID one. So I just kind of threw the 30 in there
okay,
in the spreadsheet with COVID money. We're also looking at renting out the jail space for isolation units for the jail. And so Chelan was doing that, and it was qualifying for COVID. And so by doing that, by having certain cells kept free and clear for the purpose, then we can bill out. And I think Sean did like an average of what he charges, like Stevens County and other DOE
Did
and.
you get the signs?
And- And did we get something that said with that, all that COVID money, I mean, how well was the direction to be able to spend the COVID?
It was pretty non-existent.
Yeah,
And
That-
it
it's
was,
still.
The whole reason I asked, I was at Okanagan on Tuesday. They were spending theirs on the fairgrounds, and they were basically having everybody come in, they were invoicing, they had almost $600,000 to spend by November 30th.
Right, right.
So they were
Same deal.
trying to balance, they hadn't got the sheriffs in yet, and they were sitting there trying to invoice everything out. Cause they can, as long as they could invoice it, it was,
It may qualify.
you may qualify.
It may.
If it didn't, you're not out anything other than the invoice, I guess.
no, you had to pay for it and they paid.
It depends. If it's an entity within your general fund, then it's a zero sum game, you know, if it gets rejected. However, if you go out and spend, you know, $50,000
No, we
on
weren't
something.
going out and spending. It was an entity within the thing that they were invoicing
Right,
for.
right.
And if it was then approved, they could go ahead with.
But every time we have a meeting with Commerce and LoSAC, I mean, somebody asks a question and it changes from
Different.
week to week. It's like, we're doing this, what do you think of it? Well, no, I wouldn't do that. You know, and then a whole bunch of counties are like, ooh, you know, so they pull back and then a new question, you know. So we've kind of held off later than other counties on spending some of it because it's like, it changes, you know,
Yeah.
so if it has a direct relationship to COVID and it's pretty obvious, we've kind of stuck with that, you know, so enhancing our ability to have meetings, you know, was one, you know, that way when we're all shut down, we can still function. And including throughout the county, you know, the other offices that don't have all the equipment. So that's one of them, you know, giving it out to businesses. So we're on round 3 doing that. So that's an obvious one that we can do that, but also they can claim lack of revenue where we can't. So we can't offset lack of revenue in the government, period. And that was very stringent outline when we first started this whole process. So even our other entities like the fairgrounds,
They had that.
they're tied
they had
to the
that
government.
Lack of,
So I just need
fund
to.
or-
Yeah, but we can't give it to
because
the,
of COVID.
so for us, we can't give it to the fairgrounds because they are part of us. So if it's another entity, like a nonprofit or something, we can go through the system.
Yeah.
But for ourselves, I think they're gonna look or frown on that if they're directly associated to us, so.
So what would we have to do to find out if we could put a camera system for contract tracing in the fairgrounds since they were setting up the courts there?
Oh, I think if we wanted to do it, it's just a matter of timing and funding, and the type. Because a lot of it's not just, you have to kind of know what you want to put out there,
Right.
you know, within reason. For here, we found something that seemed to make sense and it wasn't terribly expensive.
What do they have? Because you did the wireless and stuff out there, what do they have set up?
They have some wireless connects, so theoretically, you know, from certain points, they could go through the wireless system and then to a hub. And if you put a few switches out there that have the PoE for power injection,
Right.
then you could use a similar system. You might look for a hybrid that can do wireless too. Plug them in.
What's one next week?
I don't know. And I think I'd refer to Daryl, because he's more familiar with the setup and the IT part out there than I am. Because they've done some changes since I worked on it out there, so. Upgrades and,
Do we want to send him a note or just see if we can talk to him today? We have till Friday, right?
yeah, he's off this week.
Oh, well, that.
That's why we were pushing so hard last week to try to figure out different things. But anyway, that was a few updates and a few changes that they seem to make sense, you know, COVID related as well as the courthouse and stuff.
So how much more do we need to come up with for next week?
You see, that's the girl right there.
Yeah.
Donna, did you see the photos?
She looks familiar.
Um,
Got little kids.
Yeah, and had she been able to get through the court system, like Michael Golden was saying,
Yeah.
she would have ended up in rehab instead of dead. And so,
That's a heavy load.
huge deal.
Yeah.
And that's just in our little place. Imagine what's happening everywhere else,
Oh, yeah.
you know?
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, it's really sad.
Yeah, I heard how they're gonna divvy up the 130 million the governor put out there. So guess we'll find out on that.
After we spent it and.
Right, discrimination according to skin color, first of all.
Yeah. Hmm. Curtail,
Yeah, it's too bad, isn't it? Too bad you can't pass why it wouldn't take less time to see if it comes together or not. Or can come together, but you can't. Gas on fires. Okay.
This one.
What are you feeling about Ted, Nathan?
Well, if we can pay him those extra amounts. Auditors don't really like that.
I don't know.
I think after we get the audit, we're gonna figure out new structures. Even on tourism money, where if you're over 5,000, you're supposed to have a committee.
Well,
I think I would hesitate on even doling that out this year.
the tourism,
I would put in the budget, what we might want to give out, and then we'll have some more guidance later to put a committee together and do that next year. And people just have to wait.
well, some of the bigger ones already got, COVID money, so that they lost, they got more than they were.
Oh, yeah, there was a lot more.
Well,
Stone Roses.
some of them were, some of them do, some of them.
Grant.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got quite a bit more, actually. Jeff gave us another $17,000 to each of the entities, because Congress passed it.
Ah,
They're gonna be well set for,
okay, then.
and what they do with it, I have no idea.
I know, that's the question.
So, figure it out.
Did we go beyond the base membership on this last year? I don't think we did.
If we did, I put that back.
I think we did too.
Yeah, Jeff actually came up and I chatted with him one day in the courthouse, but he was needing a signature by Friday to even be able to pass the money through. And it just increases it from like 10. It's an additional 17. I think there's gonna be a bigger discussion on this whole thing as far as ADO money in the future.
Okay, good.
And that whole works, because I think the idea is in 6 months. But we have to apply, we have to go through the system. Whatever, and I did get some feedback from the MRSC on the type of committee, different things that we need to have.
Okay,
A little bit more helpful than what I got back from the state auditors.
good.
They don't wanna give you any advice. They're just like, okay, so give me some idea if this is a good idea. Oh, no, we can give advice. It just hits you
Yeah.
when you do it wrong, or think you did it wrong.
Thank you.
When did you get to move in?
Not sure if they're still waiting on an approval, they're like 5 days behind, because of with all this COVID stuff. So they ordered
We
it,
were open at the middle of December, weren't we?
that, the closing date was the 15th of December, is what they put it on, but the realtor said appraisals are 5 weeks behind. If they've asked, the loan agent asked for one, but they haven't got scheduled.
No.
So who knows with all this restriction?
I'm sorry.
It's okay, as long as it goes through eventually.
Well,
I'll be
yeah,
happy.
but you should be home for Christmas. Hmm. Wow.
I didn't realize they were.
Yeah, that's kind of ridiculousness.
And that's just for that, you know, like, far behind. I don't know all the other steps, but you gotta go step by step. By the time we get to the end, you know.
Spring.
You know. Not good.
Okay, so Mr. Fritz. Fritz. I did some digging. I was looking through all the RCWs that talked about in that resolution. But I found out that we did discuss this and we did make a note of it.
Right, now I remember us deciding on those points.
Yeah.
Not that I'm not willing to look at, other stuff, but, I know we had decided, a direction in whether we maintain that or look at other options, that's,
Well, I don't think the auditors, we can't have discredit people and without changing for a line item and everything else. I think Joyce would have a fit if we just said we'll deduct this for the next 5 years.
I don't know if she'd be the one, it would have to be the assessor, I would think.
But doing that, in April, we do have it in our minutes that we made a decision that we were gonna stand with what
Right.
the state said. And,
So did we get a letter out, that's,
well, that we might not have, but at least we got, so if
in the minutes?
we didn't, we fell short, but we did make a decision, there was in the minutes that we were gonna stand by. And I don't see how we could make her credit. And it's 1 in 10,000, it's unfortunate, but he has gotten money back. So, I don't know, but, I think I sent them in with the stuff. I didn't, the April 27th minutes noted that we had it, and then there's, exhibits with the original letters and stuff too, so.
It's good for us to have some. Did you guys make a decision on that?
What?
On the thing, or we just did fast with what we're doing?
Which one?
The tax thing.
I think we
Yeah.
should stand fast with what we're doing.
Okay,
So
it's kind of what I thought, but I just,
when you look through the minutes, was there a letter that
Yeah.
was sent out?
no, I did not
Did you
send,
receive
I did not send anything out.
Okay, I just want to confirm.
Yeah, no,
that
there
we
is
got that.
no, I definitely never communicated with him.
And that's what, we did make that decision.
You guys did make that decision, and it was the 27th, you said, John?
27th, yeah, of April.
April. Yeah, I looked it up, I pulled it out, and it's got his letter. And
Because it was online for the minutes, but like.
it's got his letter and then Rachel's reference.
Okay.
I can email him and say, tell him that your guys are just sticking with.
Well, for me, I want another week.
Oh, you want-
I haven't had time to even
Okay,
think about it
you let me know.
or do any research or anything.
Understand the concern of that, If we still, because that's a big thing.
Take all the time you need.
I don't know, though.
It is.
Yeah, I don't know. The only soccer, just like.
Well,
how
I
that
mean,
affect.
I realize that, it's just something else for someone to point out.
You mean in a Sense of favoritism,
Mm-hmm.
potentially.
Don't act like you guys don't have favorites. I know you guys have favorites.
Process.
Yeah. Thank you. What? It's my job. Life is better with honey, not vinegar. Mayonnaise. Are you guys ready for minutes?
Yeah.
Okay. It's a fat one. There you go. Mhm.
This is just a clarification question on the minutes. We got, who was at the meeting, and you've got Nathan down, and then you note later that Nathan came in later. But you have Commissioner-elect Janakopoulos down, and he didn't come in until the afternoon. So I just wonder if there's a difference with that, or just the fact that he was there during the day was okay?
He was on the call.
He was on the phone.
Oh. Are we listing the people on the phone normally?
No, I mean, there's a difference in person or not, whether track that or not.
Well, I'm just clarifying.
Do you have a recommendation for something different?
You're talking about at the top where he's listed at the top.
Excuse me?
Where you're talking about he's listed at the top?
Yeah, I mean, Nathan's listed at the top, but you know that Nathan came in later. And maybe just a note that he did come in when he came in. But if you want to just call it good that he was on the phone, I'm okay.
And you could put on mine, you know, I don't get a letter, you know, that I have to bring home that says I was absent. You're naughty, but
You-
was absent at the start of the meeting due to
Which you
a
had
NACO
notified us.
meeting, I guess.
Yeah, but we were aware of that you were coming in later, so.
Yeah, but just for the record of why I was absent, in case I forget.
Okay, so just to clarify. Because you attended a different meeting.
So what is it, NAT?
Capital,
ACO.
all capitals.
Yeah, all capitals.
Mhm.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes for Monday, November 16th as corrected.
Second?
Motion second for the minutes for November 16th, 2020. Discussion. Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
It's right over here. Great job.
So what's the, okay. So we have to spend it by the 30th of November and invoice it by the 15th of December.
Yeah, 15th to do the A19
To do what?
to get money back, fill out the online A19s.
Oh, I see.
also Wes Hart, Mark Burrows, and Greg Young, the Stevens County Commissioners.
Yeehaw. I don't know anything about Burrows, other than he's was the Chula police. So how does that stand? Is he there for 2 years, or is there another election next year?
Say again?
I'm wondering if there's an election next year, or if it's 2 years out. Did we advertise, there was a question that I think came across on the, treasurer, did we advertise on that?
I did.
Lorna was putting that together, I guess. We don't advertise,
Oh, okay, but the,
party does.
well, the party does, but then we'll, oh, okay,
Cause they gotta give us 3 names. And go from there.
okay.
I think she's referring to Rachel asking if it should be on the website.
Oh, okay,
Isn't that what got that conversation started,
okay,
right?
Yeah.
Shauna?
yeah. Had flipped it into the county advertising too, but it wouldn't, so.
Okay, so we're ahead. Do you guys want to do some consent?
You're being facetious?
No. Because our next deal is at 10:30.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should go through the contract with Michael.
We can pass our consent and you guys can pour over the contract.
Okay.
You're not grabbing. You hiding those from me? Yeah. All right, so the first consent we have is resolution 2020-36, which is the Martin Hall budget. It's a normal one we do every year. This is their signature pages right here.
And it's a financial.
Yep, and it's a huge, I would just say to pass resolution 2020-36 for the Martin Hall budget because it's a long one and it's,
Okay. So I'll make a motion to pass resolution 2020-36 for the Morton Hall budget.
Second. A motion and a second for resolution 2020-36. A resolution of the Board of County Commissioners of Fayette County, Washington, approving and authorizing the 2021 maintenance and operation budget pursuant to the amended and restated interlocal juvenile detention facility agreement, Martin Hall, and providing for other matters properly related thereto.
Would you repeat that?
Our portion is $28,200 $287.50.
She's pretty static, isn't it, Dawn? It's-
Well, it just depends, because recently they've had more than what our allocated bed space is, and that means it costs us more. But then again, they changed the rules, so where you can't lock up juveniles anymore, so. I don't know.
Now it should be free?
Yeah. So who knows?
I was just learning the streets, okay.
Yeah, they're on the street. It's gonna get cold soon, they'll have to go home.
Or, I don't know. Whatever.
Through it all. Budget layout in the different counties and. Yeah. Bed space. Yes. We're similar to Lincoln County, it looks like. Portion.
Yeah, so she likes the movie. Be right back.
Did she? I think he's been, because
She said it's long,
yeah, it was extremely long.
lot of discussion.
I had to get Ricky, Land on there and everything.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah, the lady that trains.
yeah. Explain it, explain it, explain it.
She likes him, huh?
Yeah,
Interesting.
I think she was interested that if you just kind of got her, fired up, yeah.
Oh.
Kind of sparked her interest, so.
Definitely sparked something.
Mhm.
Yeah, it was an interesting meeting.
So, any more discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Motion carries.
So this is for payroll draws.
Okay.
March register payroll draws. Email.
Okay, I make a motion for November 2020 for payroll draws, in the amount of $49,096.73. Second.
All right, so that motion and a second. For the Fair County warrant register. Warrant numbers 339882 through 339884. For a total of $49,096.73. More discussion. Yes, that is payroll draws. All those in favor say aye. 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 And those opposed, motion carries.
So this is a warrant register in the amount of $13,919.76, and it's a special bill run. So for the building right, Nathan,
What?
that $13,000,
That's mine, I think, right?
Where's that?
it's not yours.
Oh, those are the enclosures for
Yeah.
the mobile sign units, 8 of them for that county.
So it's a special bill run so that we could get that in.
It's
ASAP.
because of the tax, and I couldn't get them to put tax on it. So the tax would be paid later.
Okay.
We would have to pay it unless we can get it in time. But it's the weatherproof enclosures for the TVs,
Oh,
for the automated sign stuff. And I think the hospital's really interested in one
perfect.
too. So then their IT and whatever can program and do their stuff that they would like to do.
So I make a motion for a special bill run for November 23rd. I said November 20th on that last one. I did. And that's what it said on the paper. November 23rd. Isn't it?
And we'll just adjust it.
Okay. For special ballroom, November 23rd, for protective enclosures for the signs. For a total of $13,919.76.
The reason why that is on the 20th is because it's the payroll draws.
Oh, okay.
And that's the day so we don't have to do it. It's just, that's when it was paid out and we're just approving it later. We do that.
Okay.
All right.
Yes, it's okay.
Second, warrant register 339905 for a total of $13,919.76. Any more discussion? I'll just point out, these are the automated sign enclosures for heating and cooling and protecting the screens. Any more discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, motion carries.
So this is a transfer from voting safety to current expense, and it's for purposes to correct expenditures for voting safety in the amount of,
So I make a motion to accept the order of treasurer to transfer funds from voting safety to current expense for correction of expenditures for voting safety, for $3,249.41.
Second.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second for an order treasurer to transfer funds from voting safety, current expense for $3,249.41. No discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
and this is the contract.
Okay,
Our amount is the 30,603.
so, so we can approve another attorney to pick up some of these cases, which starts the clock over, which keeps us from having to pay the entire fee if it isn't done by whatever it is, the middle of December or something, right?
What do you mean?
Well, there was a question about, or a statement about. Nothing was- Pardon?
Speedy trial?
Well, speedy trial, but nothing was done from March to October. And they opened it up in October, but we had October to December to do it. Now, we can't because there's too many. So if the way I understand it, and help me out, please, is that if we put another attorney on it and he's assigned these other cases, then they get a new date that rolls over for a start. Because if we don't have all these done by December, then whatever the extra cost is, the county has to pick up.
Well, I think there's
Is that right?
two elements. I think one of them is they shut it down again, so it doesn't matter about the speedy trial stuff.
Okay.
In that sense, because it just did a hard reboot.
Right.
So had they not, then yeah, I mean, that would all make sense to hire the attorney. But either way, these cases need to get dealt with.
Right.
So by using CARES Act money, we could do the cases that occurred during the time period that the CARES Act was, from March 20th or whatever.
Right.
So that those cases, when it does open up again, would still be the responsibility of this other attorney regardless, to finish them out, even if it takes 10 years or whatever.
Okay.
Or whatever the situation is, but I would imagine, but he can only assign those from that time period, but.
Right.
But then the new stuff that's coming, you'll have to figure out.
But then it also, it's also, how does the contingency lie on if he can indeed find another attorney to do it for what the cost is?
The difference is,
Is that a question as well?
Yeah, so the difference of the initial thought was they find a contractor and then, but how do you find a contractor to want to come up here and do that?
Right.
That's probably an impossibility as just a standalone contractor.
Right.
I think what he's thinking is he will hire somebody that will take the additional load and he'll be responsible for that part of it. Meanwhile, we can pay in this contract for that with these funds.
Okay.
If we don't, then he's gonna probably bring this anyway. And saying, I just can't do this anymore, and now we have to use general funds.
That's,
Or he says, I'm done and you need to go back out to bid.
right.
But then every other attorney is facing the same. So, I don't know, it's not,
Yeah, he's gonna hire somebody to help with that, to tame the numbers.
That was what I understood, but there was also a question that I heard that whether he could even find somebody to hire to do that.
and that'll be on him.
That's
That's
his
on-
business, man.
Okay, so,
We
so
can't
if
worry
we,
about
if we,
everybody.
So if they're not getting
It's on
done,
him.
that's on him and he's violating the
Okay.
contract.
well, then that's fine. I just was concerned that if
Then he
that
had
didn't
it.
come.
And they probably reached out to, some contractors or whatever, and they're probably so busy with other counties.
Yeah.
But I think he's thinking, hey, let's find somebody to hire, take that added load.
Okay.
Well, you should just know that I actually put it over, so all my little potions worked. Just one. So humanity, is that what you're saying? Wow. Just trying to get rid of me, huh? Didn't make me start listening
Yeah,
to
so
podcasts.
I guess that's what I was concerned when I read that was the amount of money wasn't what we had talked about. And it was, I wasn't sure where our, how much money we had left to do something that like big chunk.
You mean the 74?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I just went, whoa, do we have that? That's like a
Oh,
lot.
I know. I was like, no, this is not gonna happen.
Countryside.
But,
Right away.
but here,
It's,
and I can show you where I'm at on the chart, what we have left, and I think really we're down to
Yep.
uh,
Yes.
the final thing at the very last minute will be the reimbursement or the rental of the jail. And that'll just fill that at the end,
Okay,
and then that's it. Unless the governor gives us more money and more time.
and it's not,
And if he has that, what, 130 million, but he still has the same timeline? How does that work?
well,
Or it doesn't?
it's,
Because if it's the same CARES Act money that he's supposed to give back to the feds.
yes, but he'll figure out
Be
something.
aware of that.
Or he already has figured it out and he just hasn't told the rest of us what he's doing with it.
Michael, do you understand what's going on here?
That's probably the case,
Mhm.
based on what I read about what he's gonna do with that money.
Yeah, or give us 5 minutes to spend it.
Oh.
To be creative in 5 minutes.
So-
We've been training for this
The
for the
reason
last
they're
5
not doing
months.
court cases is just because of the venue.
Yeah, I mean, the court system kind of decides whether they're gonna open, close, at what level. So they're doing like minor hearings. That's it.
But no, but
And they were gonna start doing trials. I think one or two or something, now it's just
Yeah,
shut it down again.
too many people.
and because of the venue,
Well,
Well-
because you can't have that many, you can't have 6
Even-
people.
you can have so many, but the venue is what I'm asking about
It's
this.
some of it, because other counties are shut down even if they have better space, because I mean, they're protected, we got all this shields. They can do trials, with 6 jurors.
And that's what I was
Yeah,
curious about it.
but they're choosing to shut her down
Okay,
anyway.
that's just,
Yeah,
that's what I.
even though
I
we
just
put a
trying
lot
to-
of money and time into getting them all set up, and then they would have jury selection like out at the carousel
Mhm.
or at fairgrounds and stuff, but I think from what Mike told us the other day, came in and just said,
That's it.
that's it for,
Yeah,
and from what I heard was February, but.
Thoughts?
So pretend it's the next four months, on top of the last
7, 8 months.
I get,
It's a mess. It's just a mess.
well, and then anything, you put off to tomorrow, just creates more problem.
Well, more expense.
Yeah.
So the indigent defense as a whole is an unfunded mandate. It's like the state says you got to do this. Oh, by the way, go figure it out. So
Well,
now
it's
we're adding,
underfunded.
all of this mess on top of that, and they're wanting to cost us more. And by using the CARES this one time, it allows us, okay, we can offset the big whoops or whatever. But what about next time and the time after? I mean, somebody, and we're under certain obligations to provide these services, otherwise we get in big trouble. So, I don't know. And I don't think they do either. I think they just kind of winging it from one issue to the next and then start building up. And then they do some other crazy thing. Yeah, I don't know. I think this is kind of like a short-term workaround, and Stevens County is way worse. They have like 400 open cases, we're at like 130 is what Mike was saying, which is still a lot.
Yeah.
And the problem is when they open it up again and then they have the speedy trial takes effect. And then all of these have this deadline to get done. However, he did say if we had a new attorney assigned, then they get to start the clock over as far as how long they have to go through the processes. So that's probably part of the reason of getting a new guy. They can start the clock over on some of these,
Yeah. I
give them
agree
more
with you.
time to be
So-
realistic.
But if it's on him, if he can't find somebody, then that is comfort zone. Or at least it's something we,
All right. I think the only thing different from the contract is what's here, an additional sum for the purpose of adjudicating the backlog from 327 to current. Compared to his initial contract, which is a minor change, but might solve the problem. And then he could invoice us in time to get it paid out. So,
we can talk with that with Michael when he comes this afternoon.
is he coming this afternoon?
He's on for 1:30.
Who is it? Golden? No, he's not on. That's just the time that I set aside for us to be
For
able
the
to talk.
discussion.
Because I
Okay.
wanted to make sure that it was not, that we had enough time. so
Okay.
You guys could actually discuss. So that's what that was.
All right.
He's not coming in, and Nathan has to do canvassing, so we weren't gonna come back till 1:30. So if you guys,
Okay,
I mean, it's,
so if we want to go ahead and pass that, we can. Is that what
yes,
you're saying?
you
Right,
can totally
right.
do that.
Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna make a motion to accept the amendment for legal services for indigent defense representation in conjunction with the COVID and the holdup on courts. For an additional lump sum of $30,603.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. For an amendment for legal services for indigent presentation of 2019 through 2020 amendment for an additional sum of $30,603 paid with CARES Act money. Any more discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, motion carried.
What? And it's like a healthy alternative with healthy fats. Well, it has a really good texture, those avocados. Hey, Jonna, have you ever done the avocados for chocolate pudding?
No.
There's an alternative way, because I always make chocolate cream pie, homemade, old school, blah, blah, blah. But she was talking about an avocado one with the good fats. You use the chocolate powder and it has like a nice creamy texture.
Well, I've seen avocados like for chocolate cake and stuff.
Yeah.
It's really good.
I bet that would be, because it's super moisture and that good.
Yeah.
Sounds bizarre.
It does totally sound bizarre,
Yeah.
but
But it's avocados, it's gotta be good.
It looks just like chocolate.
Yeah. avocados and chocolate?
Yeah.
Never tried it.
I know.
Just like it's same colors and everything.
Yeah, it was like this super chocolate
Never
cake I
tried
saw, and I kept looking at it, going, wow, that sounds really good.
So the healthier,
Chocolate pie guacamole?
For my,
if you leave it chunky, I guess.
So, around 76,000, and this is just an estimate. It could be up or down 10 grand, depending on what bills or what. I think we covered like what Steve had ordered. He ordered a whole bunch of stuff, gloves and all that jazz, and
well, what would you,
sanitizing equipment.
okay.
So these are stuff that one is, I think Sarah's pretty much gonna wipe out the rest with enough applications, so
Okay.
she'll be pretty much clear. And so I put in the full amount. These are all business grants here, so we've spent 174 plus that round,
And we've got one more.
one more section, which is this.
Okay.
These are what's pending. TVs for the cases, thermal kiosk, 2 of those.
Okay.
The subscription for the software, for the 8 units.
And is that-
Camera system.
Is that an annual? For the software, or the software subscription, do we?
It would be less because you're actually getting the units with it.
Okay.
So by buying a year, we get a free unit,
Okay.
which is the same cost. So it's basically you buy the unit or if you get a subscription, one or the other, then you cut back on that. So it'd be less, it would probably be around $800 for all 8 screens.
Okay.
And then if the city does it, or the hospital does their own, then they can pay for their own stuff. So it just depends on what the entities want to do with them. I was gonna reach out to the tribe. I was talking with Matthew about places in Keller and Inchland. And Mike might have some ideas too down there, what the best places would be, whether it's the community center, on highway,
Oh, okay.
but we'll figure it
That's
out.
great.
And then Daryl was able to get a new server for teleconferencing or storage, essentially for just getting a new server. That allows him to help his budget. Kiosks, so 2 of these, one for the jail. We found a spot over there that all the employees could go through there too, not just inmates. They want to come to work, check themselves out. So we talked about that, and I have the 30,000, which that's actually a different number.
603.
Is that 603?
Man, what was the total on that contract? 30,603?
30,604.
603.
Oh, 603. I was $1 off.
Yep.
30,604 for 3.
Represents that. And then the sales tax, Shannon was able to put a list together of stuff that we hadn't paid on items that
Oh,
didn't have it.
okay,
And so by doing that, we can link it.
okay.
That way that when the auditors look at it, it's like, no, and it's all lined out too. So associate the two.
Okay.
So otherwise, we would have to come up with that. General funds versus, you know, use COVID. And then a little bit extra in here, maybe. So there's probably some movement if we could figure something out for the fairgrounds.
I think that'd be great. I mean, it's
You
something.
know,
that
maybe
they
that's
need
something
anyway.
that tomorrow, even though Daryl's gone, maybe I'll bug him. Just try to, you know, and I could maybe go out there and talk to him too, and just kind of,
Was Rick
See what-
familiar enough with what you did before
what's
is
that?
Rick familiar enough with what you did before with all that?
Rick,
Diamond,
familiar with?
with the Wi-Fi and all that, how it's all set up?
No, when I worked on it, it was 2006.
Oh, okay.
Since then, Daryl's put in multiple wireless connects, like
Okay.
way out there. However, if those are active and reliable, then you could run signals through that. So you could do similar camera systems and then just run them through the wireless.
That would be awesome. And, it would be.
A lot of them have good night vision, they see pretty well, and they're high resolution.
Which is exactly what else they've been talking about, but especially if we're gonna have more people and
Yeah.
if it turns into a contact thing again.
Well, if I could get that deal that I found on the other, it's 20% off. It's a professional company in California that sells their units. And I compared it with several others. I didn't want to get just some knockoff brand from China,
Right.
you know, that you can get on
We got
Amazon.
enough from China already, right?
I wanted something that was a little bit more reliable. And then by having 16 cameras, let's say we'll only use 8,
Mhm.
that gives us 8 spares to
Right.
throw in there and do stuff, so.
Cool. Yeah, that'd be
Well,
great.
I
if
guess,
you Have a moment
yeah,
to
I'll
add
try to
one
get,
more
I
thing.
think we could just fit it in there. Maybe my credit card will be used, freed up by then, but it's been a pain. That whole mess, you know. I guess I don't see why we can't just increase the whole county's amount. Is it really that big a deal
Yeah.
to go from 70, whatever? Because we can do any card individually, just like that. So I just wonder if they didn't want to mess with it. But it made it really hard to do this.
Well,
And if there's more money next year,
It's
then we'll
gonna
be
the
right
same
back
thing.
into the same thing.
Right.
You know, and I'm not
Especially if
just
they're not-
willy-nilly spending. It's like I'm doing the research on every item, comparing it, figuring out what works, what doesn't. And that's where all the time is spent. Otherwise, you could just start buying whatever, but if it doesn't serve the purpose.
Well, and if the
It's kinda
state paid you
wasted.
back your full amount every month, it would make a difference too. But then,
So, yeah, I don't know. We'll have to figure out something better for the future, but.
well, that'd be great. I think that would be,
It might be an opportunity, and as we have events out there, even for court or for whatever purpose,
right,
I think that would definitely help.
it would. And it would be, you know, it would fit with COVID completely as well as just the public safety and,
Oh, I did get a quote from the jail on Friday, like after I already ordered it. It's like $85,000 for a couple cameras and conduit. I didn't even look at the whole bid, but
that's a wish list.
yeah. it was-
Hello. I brought you some fudge. I figure you guys could use some fudge. And it's been in the car overnight, so it's gonna be a little bit, God knows what, but here you go.
We can take
enjoy.
it.
Thanks, ma'am.
God
Thank
bless
you.
you all.
Yeah.
And thanks for what you do for our community. It is very, very appreciated.
Thank
All right,
you.
thank you. That's mine.
I just want to read the card. I'll hand it back to you.
Who's the angel?
Carol Bo.
Very cool.
I just, that's really never happened before.
Here's the ones.
It's like a big Reese's peanut butter cup.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
it is.
amazing.
Face plant in that, eh?
Carol.
We're gonna have to, we have to. She brings you the slab of it. She's brilliant. This is something I might have to copy.
Yeah, so our recent transaction, is she was the one that was gonna get, I think it was a lawnmower for the cemetery.
Oh, uh-huh.
Remember that grant? She just wanted a letter of support.
Oh, very nice.
No, she's one of the structure for the community for many, many years.
Oh, she gets it.
She was part of all that for many years.
9 years she was on the council. That's cool. Yeah, this is a great idea. I make fudge every year, but what I do is I make a big one, I cut it all up and I put it in a tin and I give it away for gifts. But this,
Pack it, freeze it,
like,
ready to go
genius.
for the next 10 years.
But then, and this you get quite a bit of fudge in.
If Robert comes in, you throw it at him and knocks him
I'll let it defrost and I'll cut you guys up some in a little bit. 'Cause it's
off.
frozen. It's frozen. Thank you. Yeah. Cake. Yeah,
All right.
thanks. That is so cool.
It is.
Yeah.
It's really nice when people say thank you
I
and
know, it just doesn't
they
take,
like us.
yeah, thanks, and I understand.
Yes.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
It was nice.
Amanda, could you make a copy of the, April 16th, the April 27th, the, documentation that came with that for the exhibit,
Yes,
please?
you want all the information with the exhibit.
Yes, ma'am.
So here's the thermal units. That's, visual on thermal camera, and a little tripod screen, and you just go up, scans, and then gives you your temperature.
Oh, wow.
Been a normal, very simple, straightforward, not complicated.
It was-
FDA certified.
Cool.
Within a reasonable price range compared to, a lot of the FLIR cameras start out at 10 grand just for the camera. No software, no nothing else.
That's crazy.
This one uses a heat source for calibration all the time.
Yeah.
So in the background, this will radiate a certain temperature precisely. That way it's always calibrating itself. So when it reads you, where some of the others,
Screwed up again. I'm sorry.
you have to manually calibrate them all the time.
Okay.
Well, it
Otherwise,
just
then
did that.
the whole spectrum gets off. Pretty soon you're like flagging everybody.
I did, it's
Or
my
does it?
fault again.
Smart to check that sensor occasionally to make sure it's a proper temperature.
I
Right.
literally, I'm sorry, Butch.
That's all right.
So, yeah,
It ate it.
anyway.
Uh-oh.
After
Oh,
looking
shoot.
about 10 different systems, it seemed like the one that would work, that would pass for the money.
Look at this.
I'm going to have a notification.
Yeah.
So does it take a picture too, or does it just take the temperature?
I think you can hook it up to different things.
That would be interesting if you could, especially for the content.
To be within half a degree accuracy.
Wow.
And it meets the FDA guidelines, which a lot of them didn't. And you can hook it up to like a full-size screen or whatever.
I wonder that, that'd be interesting if you did have a temperature, if it would click your picture too.
Yeah, you can tie it to like a door. It won't open the door unless you pass. So, I mean, it's got a lot of stuff you can do with it.
That's cool. Except that doesn't apply.
Well, keep them out of the courthouse if they don't
This
pass.
is true, yeah.
It has an intruder alert capacity, so that if there's any reptilians trying to get in, it can.
It'll
identify.
right away.
We'll send them down the hall in front of Butch and then Butch can take them out.
That would explain a lot.
We just haven't noticed yet. Oh, that's cool.
Maybe 4 or 5 different setups that have been developed with different technologies, different cameras, different scenarios, different software. But out of the ones, we're within a reasonable price
I
range.
shredded it.
It did, I had to tape it. Yeah.
The cheapest thing in the history of the world.
It's like tissue paper almost, so.
So we're in the entryway in the courthouse where our ladies are standing now would be, would that be another?
Do you want to just do the update, or do you think she should come too?
I don't think she needs to,
Okay, then no.
unless you guys really want to. But I think we worked everything out.
Okay, well, they can actually talk to you about it, and then they can actually call something later if they need to, and I think that would be just fine.
I did contact her, so she might show up anyway.
Okay.
It was a good chat.
I'm glad.
It's always,
I love that.
it's always good for about a week and then something.
Yeah, it's kind of building. Not getting better, so something has to be dealt with.
Yeah. Get it fixed.
Oh. Maybe put this over there for now. No, maybe I get some time this week.
Okay.
No. So busy.
So, we're gonna do an executive session for personnel at 10:30,
Okay.
and do you expect 15 minutes or a half an hour, or?
No more than a half hour. We always
Okay.
take more time than we think.
Okay,
Now let's do half an hour.
okay.
I got a few different things to talk about since.
I just wanted Melanie to be able to prepare the little sign for the door.
And because you're active as of tomorrow, we can include you if you want to get a heads up of what's going on. Absolutely. Prerogative of the board, as long as all three of us
Yeah, it
are
has to be
okay.
agreed on by the board.
Yeah,
I'm all right with that.
you're okay. Yeah.
I think it's a great idea,
It's-
but just be mindful of the fact that it is an executive session, and I know it's new for you, but it's something that stays in here.
Yep.
What happens in here stays in here, kind of.
Unless you're from Vegas.
That was our saying, what happens if they get state?
Not anymore.
It's so overused.
Yeah, I know.
It should be what happens in your man state.
I contacted Travis and did some brown nosing.
How'd that go for you?
That gave us good prices. I'm sure it went fine.
Okay.
Travis and I are always good.
So Butch, we had a discussion about cameras, and so we're ordering a whole system for the courthouse. But John had brought up, because we had discussions in the past with the fairgrounds, we might be able to do something similar out there.
Especially since they're gonna try and do the court and things through that, it could still be for.
Because they're wanting to do jury selection and this and that. So it might-
A better opportunity.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, you know, it's coming short, so if I got a deal like I just got last Friday,
It's weird.
20% off if you reach a certain threshold.
Scalable.
On ours here, we went with a 16 camera, even if we only use half, that gives us extra cameras if we need them for expansion or replace ones that might, you know, wear out or go south. And then
Are they gonna require a license, so we have everything stored on the cloud, or?
it's got its own unit. We're gonna use PoE, so it's just Cat 5 or Cat 6. That way we don't have to have power to it, just that way we're not worried about wireless connecting, not connecting. It's just goes straight to the unit, records it for, comes with the 4 terabyte, but I bought an extra 8 terabyte drive, so it'll store it for several weeks.
So just like an intranet,
Yeah,
self-storage, and
Yeah.
just samples through that.
you know, and I know a lot of talk with Daryl's over the year, you know, what would work over here the best versus, and the wireless just doesn't work very well with the concrete. And it's unreliable and it's just not as rock steady. And they're all 4K, they're night vision, every one can handle up to like 20 below zero. And then 2 of them, one for the front and one for the back, that are controllable and zoomable. So that you can cover the parking lots and cover the areas really well with the night vision stuff.
That would be really good.
So anyway,
Sounds amazing.
that's kind of where we're at. So I'm gonna look for another system for the fairgrounds here, next day or 2. All right, let's do this
Think
here.
about bringing in a professional contractor who does those services and maybe brief you on some different options.
Yeah, it's a little late in the day.
We have,
Gotta work
Yeah.
fast.
Here's the professional right here. Take what you got. All right, we're gonna go into executive session for personnel for 30 minutes. As at 10:30.